Ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages, welcome to our show. We have gathered together from the cosmic reaches of the multiverse, two of the nerdiest geeks to be found. We proudly present the Professor and her geeky girlness herself, Ace. And now it's time. Geeky KOOL Presents Professor and Ace.
Hey everybody, welcome to episode 45. We've had a couple weeks off, but we are back at it. I am the Professor, or that's what I call myself. Down below is Ace. Hi Ace. And we've got a special guest with us today. GeekyKOOL's own Morgan is right over here.
I swear, I hate that. I hate the...
I know the mirror thing, right? Yeah.
So bad.
I'm starting to kind of get it once in a while, right? So yeah, I know it's kind of crazy. So welcome with us, Morgan. So glad you're on here with us. We wanted to bring you on.
Glad to be here. Thank you.
Yeah.
We love Morgan. Morgan
Yes,
writes
we do.
for us. She writes such great articles, and yeah, I've loved Morgan since the day I met her, and she understood what I was at a con. She's the only one who got it.
So what was the cosplay? Because you're not talking about just you. You're talking about a cosplay.
I was Totoro.
Oh, yeah.
And I was walking around with my little umbrella, and I was handing out little acorns to all the kids or anybody who thought I was cute. So not very many people, but I was handing them out. And then there was this like little display where they had these like little miniature trees. And I thought it would be hilarious if Totoro tried to make the trees grow. And no, I'm like over there doing this little dance all by myself. And nobody understood it. And then all of a sudden Morgan comes around the corner. She's like, oh my gosh. And she just comes over, and you and Tabitha.
Yes.
Did a little dance with me.
Yeah.
I loved it.
There you go. That's awesome.
So
I still got my acorns too. They're by my desk.
Oh, that's awesome.
Morgan,
It was so fun.
We do have comments already, by the way.
That must be.
Mr. Keith says, hey, howdy everyone. Hey, Keith. Glad to see you, my friend.
I miss Keith. I had invited him. We're doing OzCon virtually this weekend, and I had invited him on for our Geeky KOOL panel on Sunday, but he can't come. So.
Oh no, we're sorry, Keith. Well, Morgan, you can come if you like.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that. I've always wanted to go to OzCon, but it's usually during another convention I go to. So.
It's always during the other convention, and that's why I don't go to the other convention.
Right.
I don't go to Cape is because OzCon's going on, and and OzCon is such a small con, and I just adore the people there.
Absolutely.
And I've gone every year. I just can't miss it.
Sure.
Yep. So for those that don't know, we will put a link in our video down below for OzCon. You can make sure it starts tomorrow. So OzCon starts tomorrow. So Friday through Sunday, it is virtual. But there's a lot of cool stuff going on, merchants rooms, all sorts of panels, including our Geeky KOOL panel on Sunday at 10 a.m. Central Time. So make sure to join.
I have my Geeky Girlness panel on Friday.
Oh, all right.
Girl Power Friday night. The Nerd Informants have a panel right before me. And
nice.
Saturday night, Shpoo and I are having a geeky panel on our series of enigmatic events and our show that we do on YouTube. So it's fun. Plus I'm on call this weekend. So hopefully nothing it's terrible. It's my weekend to be on call. So hopefully there's no big bad news stories going on. So I can actually do this.
Well, and AJ, I'm on call this weekend also. So
we're risking everything.
We are. All right, let's just roll with it.
Yes. But Morgan, if you want to come and be a part of the virtual panel, either with Geeky KOOL, or if you can't make it on Sunday and you want to be a part of my Geeky Girlness panel,
which is awesome.
Let me know.
Yeah, that sounds great.
Yay.
And you can do both if you want to. So that's whatever you'd like to do.
We're all good with that.
Yeah.
I need more geeky girls in my life. I have lots and lots of geeky guys in my life, but not as many geeky girls.
And AJ, I've been saying that same thing for years too. I need more geeky girls in my life. So
I'm telling you, Professor, you have me, but I
do.
I understand.
No, but I actually love geeky girl stuff. So you are amazing. The more we can add and the more we can show girls this is okay. My daughter was a geeky girl right up until the time she became a cheerleader in 8th grade. Then all of a sudden she's like, oh, I'm too cool for this now. So, after she's done competitive cheer in college, I'm hoping she comes back to the dark side.
She's always going to have a little geeky girlness in her.
I think so.
And that's the thing is just trying to find that geeky girlness. I came up with the idea for the panel because I work with a girl, one of the other writers, and she unfortunately, I work in a newspaper with Tim Church from the Nerd Informants and myself, and then one other girl who's in the editorial department. So there's 3 of us, and then we have our sports writer as well. But Tim and I are huge nerds and geeks, and we are just always talking about geeky stuff. And she's like, I don't even understand what comes out of your mouth. And so she's like, I really want to learn. And so I thought,
good.
Anytime you can find one geeky thing that you like,
right.
Go with it and just find it.
So right as Geeky Kool started, the year we started, I actually did a panel in St. Louis at WizardCon that was a geek girl panel because I knew a couple that I brought along with me and some other people that I had met. And basically I was asked at one point because it was all these great ladies that had varying amounts of interest in geekdom and they were amazing. And I was moderating. And so they said, why are you moderating this? Shouldn't a geek girl be moderating this? I'm like, yes, they should be. But nobody else came up with the idea. So I put it together because I wanted to highlight this and I wanted Geeky Kool to be a part of this. So, but I would be happy to turn this over to let one of the girls moderate, but none of them wanted to step up and do that. So, but anyway, so that's real exciting. I'm glad you're doing that. It's a great panel. Hey, Shmoo.
What is this? What am I looking at? Who are you people? Get out of my house.
Aww.
Just kidding. That's
so cute. He thinks it's his house.
Had to have my obligatory cameo.
Oh, he's so weird. He's back taking pictures of his toys.
I'm editing.
Oh, nice.
Editing pictures of his toys. See, he's got a huge collection. I know, like, Morgan, I know you have a huge collection of Geeky Kool toys as well.
Oh, my God.
It's a thing. So he takes pictures of his and mine. He actually takes pictures of all of my collectibles and stuff, and he posts them every night. He has a different collectible of the day for the next day and stuff. Yeah, it's a really cool thing. But this is my life. I come home and work, and he's back taking pictures of his toys.
I love it.
There you go. So we've got some comments here, ladies. So let's throw these up here. Keith also says hi to all of us. Chris is watching and she says hi, Morgan. And then goes on to say, oh, there you go. And Morgan is a geeky girl and proud of it, as she should be, Chris.
She should
Sounds
be.
like you've raised her right.
Here's the thing with Morgan is I completely adore her. Morgan is you are probably like one of the most genuinely kind people I've ever met, but you also are just shy of normal, like you're weird, which just makes me love you even more because I like normal people too. Like, don't get me wrong, they're fine.
The norms.
The norms are fine. But the weird people who it can add to my tribe, they just make me happy. And
thank you.
And Morgan is so talented. So
yes, she is.
I get Call Genuine a lot, and that means so much to me. And my coworkers don't understand me at all. And I think, and I love that because my favorite thing I ever got was a coworker. He was a former military man. He stared at me and he goes, "I don't understand you, but I know I like you." And he walked off. And I was like, "Best compliment ever."
You're like, you don't have to understand me as long as you don't hate me. That's all I care about.
Yeah. But he tried.
So Mandy, Mandy wanted to correct me on this, and she's right. I bow before Mandy. She says, not girls, Professor, women and ladies. Yes.
Okay.
Most definitely.
So the reason Professor calls them girls is probably because
he's
of
old.
me. No, probably because of me. Because I sign all of my articles. Thanks for reading the Geeky Girlness. And I embrace the fact that, and I call myself the Geeky Girl or the Geeky Girlness because all of the things that I'm passionate about and all the geeky things that I love, I can stem back to points in my life from when I was a girl.
Right.
Yep.
And so I know Mandy's just joking, but and Mandy's not getting offended by Professor calling us girls. He's not calling us girls. He's just saying there needs to be more geeky girlness in the world. And so if anybody is watching and gets offended by that, do not think that he's that type of person because he's not. And you can blame me for it because I say the geeky girlness. Even in OzCon, I just signed up for Discord because their virtual thing is going to be through Discord.
Right.
And my little username is AJ the Geeky Girlness. So,
well, and I sit back because I don't want anybody to think I would downplay anything. I don't mind being called a boy. That's fine because I still feel like I'm that boy inside.
Oh, you got that boyish charm.
Yeah, I don't know about the charm part, but the adolescence may still be in there. I don't know. Mandy also said, okay, she concedes, but
Mandy, we love you. Mandy is so. Like Morgan, I met Morgan at MaxCon, which doesn't happen anymore. It happened 2 years, and then they just didn't, couldn't afford because cons are expensive to put on. They couldn't afford to keep it going. So I met Morgan at MaxCon, but I met Mandy at OzCon.
Okay.
And Mandy is just like you. She came up to my booth, and it was like this genuine, like kind person, but at the same time, just not quite normal. And I'm just like, come to me and be a part of my tribe. So
I love it.
Mandy's a part of our tribe.
Yay!
Yes, and Mandy, you're always welcome to come on too. So please let us know. You can join us at any time. So we've got another comment.
That is Misty's Roselle. She's one of my oldest friends. I've known her since junior high. So.
Yay, that's awesome. And Mr. Keith had a long one here for us that he's missing the panel because of family commitments. So all right. Well, that's pretty intense, Keith. That's awesome.
I'm telling you, I'm so jealous of Keith and Gary. Not that I don't love our stuff, but they get to interview the coolest people ever all of the time. And we only get to interview cool people once in a while, like Morgan coming on here. That's just awesome. But a lot of the times poor Professor, he's just stuck with me and I'm stuck with him. And let's face it, sometimes we're boring.
Well, you know what? I don't know. And of course, I think my crazy mind is not boring. So, and yours, no, but we flow. So Keith even mentioned that how we flow, especially when we start talking old movies. We have a great time with that.
I love old movies.
I know, me too.
Such a sucker for an old movie. Can't even.
So we wanted to have Morgan on because she's an expert on anime and different cartoons, but she's also an author, and we wanted to talk to her about her books and
Oh,
what
thank you.
she's got coming out, because we are excited for you and excited for those, and we want to promote you and have you come on and tell people why they should check out your books. So
Oh, self-promotion's difficult, but thank
it
you.
is, isn't it? I'm with you.
Okay, so I'll start it. When I met Morgan, she had I think you had 2 of them out, right? Just 2. Yeah. And she's like, "Here, read my book, please." Like literally the quietest little mousiness, and I was like, "Okay." So I actually didn't buy it at the con because I didn't make any money at the con that year, like none. But I did come home and actually purchase. Morgan is the only author other than Ashley that I've purchased their books digitally, like ever, of any book ever. And I bought it and I read it, and I told her what I loved about it, what I had, what I thought was like a little odd about it. But again, it's a youth book. The one I read is like meant for young adults.
Mm-hmm.
And so sometimes I'm just like, oh my gosh, they're teenagers, stop. And that was the problem I had with it. But I was reading it, and then by the time I got to page 60, I was like, what's happening next? And I actually took it and was reading it at work. I got in trouble like 3 times.
Oh no. Sorry.
So Morgan is amazing because one, she takes these characters who, if I've met in real life, I would probably think we're annoying teenagers.
Mm-hmm.
Not even gonna lie, because I'm an old grouchy woman. But she made them so interesting, and the story is so good that I actually was rooting for them and like really getting into it. And so I absolutely love Morgan's books.
Oh, thank
So
you.
now, Morgan, you can tell us what's coming up or talk about some of your other ones. There you go.
Yes, please.
I plugged you. Now you can just talk about the books.
I do have my covers actually down here.
Fantastic.
I over prep everything in my life.
She's a teacher.
I am. So this is the book lovely AJ was talking about. That's Spirit Vision. It's UA Paranormal Mystery, which I really enjoyed doing. And I actually wrote it when I was 14. So it probably explains the teenage vibe because I was a bratty teenager.
We had talked about that when you were like, what did tell me the honest critique? And I was like, part of it seems like really annoying teenager. And you were like, well, I was 14 when I wrote it. And I was like, okay, that explains.
Right. But that has 3 so far. Here's the second one. There we go.
Right.
Yeah, and I have a wonderful artist. Her name is Susie Zhang. She goes by Cherryuki online. She's from Australia. She wants to be a manga artist. She is incredible.
She does one. Like, look at that. It's just the cover art is just always wonderful.
It is amazing. Yes.
No. And then I do poems and short stories as well. I've got 2 of those.
Awesome.
It's a Sweet Little Dream. That's my middle school, high school musings. And then college years, a little more angsty. Fallen Star. Yeah, angsty for me. And then I got into new adult recently, about 2 or 3 years ago. So that's kind of college age level. So my characters are in their late 20s, early 30s, because that's about where I am now. And I got to like curse and talk about adult problems. And that was really fun since I'm a kindergarten teacher, because I don't get to let loose. So there's Hunter and Bringer. It's about 2 conflicting monster hunting organizations. Monsters roam free in the world, and we protect them. The hunters obviously hunt and kill the monsters because monsters are evil. Bringers are like PETA. So
they're people too.
That's such an interesting concept. That's not one, because that's not something that I've heard before of having a conflict there. But I like that. That's a really good catch to it. Yeah. So I'm like, now I'll tell you the truth, Morgan. I'm a very slow reader, and because of my dyslexia, and so but I'm like, man, that sounds really cool. I want to read that. So you've caught me there.
Yeah, the thing is, Professor, you would really like even the stuff that Morgan wrote when she was younger.
Mm-hmm.
She has this wonderful way of describing things that's not so wordy that it get
right. Not talking.
A lot of writers, get lost in the description of things and they don't get to the point of the story.
Right.
Morgan has this way of like flowing it in to her story so well that I'm a visual person. So when I read a story,
yes,
I always can tell if it's going to be a good story because then I can close my eyes and visualize what I think the characters look like and what they're doing. And Morgan is one of those authors that make it easier for me to do it because it's not, her paragraphs aren't just all description. There are feelings, there's emotions, and I feel like that brings it in. And so it's a really it's a hard thing to do, especially for young adult books. And this is from somebody who's read hundreds of young adult books, because I had kids and and we had Mommy and Me book club, but yeah, because Dakota was like, Mom, I want to read these books but I want to talk about them. So whatever book he was reading from the age of 3 all the way up to the age of 21, I would read the same book. And that way we could talk about it.
Yeah, I love young adult works personally. They can be very engaging. But yeah, I was called the Queen of Details in elementary school by a teacher, so I kind of stuck with that. I had with my publisher, I've had to learn to fine tune over the years. I could get wordy. My coworkers say my writing's flowy, even when I take notes in meetings.
That's great.
It's very flowery, though.
It is flowery. It's very descriptive, which is good, but it's not. When I say that, I know so many people, when they hear, oh, the writer is very descriptive, they think it's going to be all description.
Right.
But it flows really well, and it actually paints a picture without being like so pinpoint every single aspect of it.
Right.
But it's a broad enough stroke that you still see the painting.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
The writer's job, what I was told, is to guide the reader, not fully direct the reader. So I need to give you the framework, but not take away the fun of the imagination. So
that is
you
awesome.
do a really good job with that.
Well, thank you.
And I'm an aspiring writer. I've been writing this novel for 5 years and haven't really got anywhere on it because I don't spend time I need to on it. But saying that is very helpful to know, Morgan. I like that. That's something I'm going to take on. 2021, I'm finishing my book. I'm getting it done, even if nobody reads it. So
I will read it.
Yeah. Well, thank you, ladies. I appreciate that. You may be going, what in the world?
Oh no, that'll be wonderful. If I could get an insight into your mind, oh my gosh.
Well, since my main character is a 14-year-old female set in the 1880s, I don't know. I don't know if you can really get my mind or not in that.
It's there somewhere. There are aspects of you.
Yeah.
That's true.
The author. Every character has the author.
No, that's true. I agree with that. I agree with that.
They either have a little bit of who you are or who you want to be.
That's true.
Absolutely.
Every time I write a character, it's either very much parts of who I am, or it's very much who I wish I could be. Those are always the hardest ones to write, though, because, to get yourself out of your own mind. Like, I could write about shy girls who read books in the library instead of going to lunch all day long, or the little nerdy girl who wants to be a reporter or a writer when she grows up. I can write those like back of my hand. But when it comes to like writing a girl who's like really sporty or very outgoing and it's hard. But no. So Morgan, what is the new one that the last
we kind of blocked you there, so I stopped you because I wanted to hear more about that book. But tell us the new one. Show us the new one.
Well, I'm working on another short story poetry collection, and my publisher says to be my last one because most authors don't write poems all the time. She's partly teasing me because I've had
you're a poet.
Yeah, well, I've had 3 in 8 years. It's pretty extensive, to be honest. I do like short stories and poetry. That's how I started. But it's called Endless Silver Ocean, and it is new adult. It's about my adult life, and I have young at heart stories. So I've got like a short story about me and my grandma growing up together.
Nice.
I've got a really, I try to do like a heartwarming Hanukkah story because I got to study the Jewish religion. That was fun. And then I have the more mature work, which I'm finishing up right now. It's a novella, and it's about a 37-year-old ex-Hollywood star who's trying to hide a substance abuse problem. So it's a very interesting concept, but I'm liking getting into the heads of someone like that and keeping them together, to be honest. So I've always been kind of fascinated with Hollywood. I'm researching Malibu. I'm sure my computer's like, oh, you're going to probably go there. Here, let's send us ads.
I have been there.
Yeah.
I've been to Malibu.
Oh, that's awesome.
It's really not.
Oh,
Depends on where you're at. The beach is awesome.
So
it looks beautiful, but it was just like, you think you're going to be able to go to the beach, but you can't because Malibu is basically homes right on the beach. And so you'd have to go through somebody's house to get to the beach.
Oh my gosh.
And these are rich people's houses, so you can't do that. Now you can walk away, like you can like park. There's like 2 beaches away, and you can walk down to the Malibu beach. But there have security guards and everything too, so it's not as much fun as it looks like when you see it on TV. But when you see it on TV, it's because it's the rich people there.
Right. That's true.
That's very true.
Right?
Oh my goodness.
Hey, Morgan, I also cut you off with the Monsters and Mortals. Tell us about that book and show us that one.
Sure. So Hunter and Bringer is about, like I said, 2 conflicting monster organizations. Monsters live among us, but they don't want to tell mortals about it because it caused mass panic, obviously. They're recruited, trained, all this stuff. There's my heroine is Valda, and she's like this tough BA fighter, doesn't take any crap. And then there's Jeremy, who's basically the pretty boy that's good at everything for the Bringers. And they hate each other. They don't get along. Well, the organizations have to come together because of vampires doing homicides. And he's like a level 10-9 threat, which is the highest you can get. And they're just like bickering all the time, but they're trying to learn that their goal is the same, is to protect mankind.
Right.
I got to research Europe because they have to track the monsters for Europe. I got to do lots of research on weapons because the only way to kill a monster is from the country they're originally from, with a weapon from that origin country.
Wow.
Yeah, so that was really fun. So like a Japanese monster can only be killed with a katana, if that makes sense. American has to have a gun because that's kind of what our staple is. So I got to do research on that and poisons and all kinds of really fun stuff.
She's just like, I got to research poison.
I had to say mean, naughty words. It was.
You just hang out with little kids all the time. You're like,
I feel like Snow White because I'm like, oh my goodness, you can't do that all the time. So it was really fun to actually type words.
Oh, I love it.
That's beautiful. Oh my god.
So the sizes are quite different. So the first one is only like, it's not even 200 pages. Because I wasn't sure if people was going to like this. You're used to me doing young adult. But it's really good reception, and I've got a lot of support and positivity for it. Not to brag, but I was very pleasantly surprised. So then I had quarantine to write the second one, and that's like 5
You're like quarantine.
Yeah. But together it makes
my quarantine wasn't that fun.
But it's one full story together with Val.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And then I have either at the end of this year or next year, depending on time, I have a short story collection for this world. So after the main stories, things that happen with the organizations. And I've got profiles for the characters. My artist did sketches for the profiles, and they're beautiful. So I can't wait to share those.
Those are awesome.
She does Chubby bookmarks too for my conventions and my characters, which are adorable.
So are you marketing this to Netflix yet?
I would love to have a Netflix series and Chris Evans be Jeremy because I love Chris Evans.
Yeah, I'm a straight guy and I love Chris Evans. So
wonderful. He's a good actor and he looks like Jeremy, and I think he'd have fun being like a prick character for one.
Well, he was Johnny Storm, who's kind of that way too. So yeah. He's just not Captain America style, but yeah.
You need to talk to Keith because Keith would probably know somebody to contact.
He probably knows Chris Evans, has him on speed dial.
That's awesome.
Probably not quite that, but he would probably know how to contact somebody. To pitch.
Yeah, he's probably going to have him on the show next week.
Right? because the idea for that world is such a unique one.
It is.
We've had things like Grimm, which brought monsters into, and we've had, there's been several, but to have competing organizations, like, and one trying to, be the PETA type of organization and one hunting them, it adds a different twist to that. And so I think it would be awesome. I think it would be awesome as an anime. I'm not gonna lie.
Thank you. I've been told that by some friends. I see Spirit Vision as an anime, and I see like live action Netflix for this if I had my dream of doing that.
That would be awesome.
I'll take whatever.
If it's Amazon or Hulu or Disney Plus, that's okay too. Yeah, whatever.
Let me write the script. Like, I'll be cheap. I mean, I want my story to be represented properly, though.
Right.
Don't go too cheap. You need to get.
I've dabbled in script writing before, so I think I can.
You don't want to do what they do with Aragon, which.
My husband hates that movie because he loves the books.
Yeah, I did too. Yeah. The book is amazing. The whole series. Now, that last book was like 900 some odd pages long. It took me literally 7 years to get through.
Oh, wow.
Because, I would just get bogged down. It's so big. Then the print was so tiny that I would get bogged down, and I put the book down and come back to it a couple months later, read another chapter, put it down, come back to it. And
see,
finally,
Professor, you and I have complete opposite problems.
I know. you can't put the book down. I can't pick it back up. But again, it was 900 pages long. I'm like, is this War and Peace? What's going on?
I read War and Peace in 3 days.
Wow.
I won't read it when I can start now. I won't finish it when I'm 100. There's no way.
I read the Harry Potter book 7 in 2.5, 3.5 hours.
Yeah. See,
people were like, what? You couldn't get it all. And I'm like, no, because I speed read. I'm a speed reader. Like, I don't always. If I really enjoy the book, I'll then go back and read it. But it's one of the things, like with the book club with my kid, I didn't want to buy 2 copies of a book. I'm cheap. I was a poor single mom. And so we would buy 1 copy, and he would be reading it during the day, and then I would read it when he'd go to bed at night. And so I had to get it done before he would start reading it again. So I just learned to read really, really quickly.
Sure.
But I don't get to read as much as I want to anymore, just because I'm so busy. Right? It's the same with GeekyKOOL. I want to write stuff for GeekyKOOL, but I literally do nothing but write all the time. I get paid for it, but it's
no. And you know what? It's a good career change for you. You're going to have this down. It's going to be old hat before too long. So you're going to.
I'm hoping so. I'm hoping so. I have 8 to 10 stories going on right now, that I have to get.
Wow. And you got to go interview somebody here in a few minutes. So
I do. I have to go in 6 minutes. So, but I wanted to make sure, one, I was here because I haven't been able to be on for a while, and I feel bad. I tell Professor all the time I don't want to disappoint people, but I feel like I am. And 2, Morgan, I was so looking forward for you being on a couple weeks ago, but you were sick and all of that. And then when I was he was like, we're rescheduling Morgan. I was like, okay, I'm gonna make time for this because I haven't got to see Morgan in person for a long time.
I know.
Long time. But I'm hoping I can be off for HeroCon. Is it HeroCon? Are you going to be there?
Heroes for Kids? Yeah, apparently I will be there. Yeah.
So that's the one I sent you the little link to earlier this year, Professor. So
I remember. Yes.
At least be there for that, even if it's just for one of the days. So I can give people hugs. I miss hugs.
I know, right? And hanging out with people that where you're like, man, I found my people. My tribe is here.
Yes.
And of course, especially if it's like a 3 or 4 day con, by the end, you're no longer saying this is my tribe's like, oh my gosh, you people stink. Just get away from me.
Heroes for Kids is great 'cause it's also for charity. All the money goes to charities as well.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I cosplay with the group. I love seeing the kids' reactions to our cosplay and everything.
Lonnie and Jessica are amazing, and the group is amazing. They do such cool work for all kinds of children's groups. And like Morgan said, the con, all the money goes to the charity to help children's groups and everything. That's the thing that I love about most cons are charitable, but the ones that it's really something that's close to the heart, and they actually started the con for those charities.
Right.
It's just something that makes it a little bit more special and everything. So
agreed. OzCon this weekend, to remind people, is also charity based, and all those proceeds and donations will be going. Forget which charity it is, but it's one that
it's also a children's.
I was going to say
charity.
I thought it was a children's charity. Yeah.
This
so
year
there's
it's a
that
children's charity. They usually pick like domestic violence shelters or children's charities and stuff like that, and because they're doing theirs virtually, they actually, if you go to the OzCon Facebook page, there's actually a donate now button, so that people who would have donated at the con can donate for the charity as well. They're going to be doing their cosplay, and it's all virtual, which is actually better for a lot of people right now still. But it also gives you an opportunity to maybe enter a couple costumes, just because you can change them, more quickly and all of that. But they're going to have that. They're going to have panels, workshops. Their special guest, I can't remember who it is, and they're gonna be mad at me. But he's a voice actor.
Yes.
Lots and lots and lots of anime. He's done My Hero Academia. He was one of the villains in that. And he's doing a like special meet and greets virtually with people, so that they would have one-on-one time. You can schedule that. So
that is awesome.
Be sure to go check out OzCon and check. They'll have all that information on their Facebook page.
And they've got a list of the schedule, and that will actually be reposted on GeekyKOOL tonight. So we will have their schedule up there, so you guys can check that out. Make sure to check out the panels and everything else for that. With HeroCon, Morgan, if you can let them know, we would love to have them on before they do HeroCon, so we can help promote them and get me some information and get in touch with some people there. That way we can get some stuff going and get that all written up for you guys also.
So. They're fantastic people. They would really appreciate that.
They are so sweet. I mean, just amazing people. So I have been lucky enough to meet all these people. So yay. I'm going to let you guys go.
Okay.
Talk about whatever you want. I know the anime is going to come up, and I'm going to be like, I really want to talk about it.
Well, we were.
But let's see. I've got like 2 minutes before I have to make my phone call. So I will talk to you guys later.
All right, AJ, we'll talk to you soon. We've got a few comments, Morgan. So let's grab those real quick. And and by the way, you're so awesome. You're so polite and caring. You're just amazing. Because I'm like, dude, you're an author, and here you are worried about this, and I'm just always amazed. Todd says this about you, by the way. You're the bomb.
Hi, Todd.
And Rassel Hall. I'm not geeky. I'm just one of the Rennie. I'm not sure what Rennie is. So I apologize for not knowing that. Just feel free to leave another comment and tell me what that means, because I'm always happy to learn stuff I don't know. Mandy asked about the dyslexia, and yes, I do know that, Mandy. I don't know about authors putting those fonts in. I've not seen that. I do have some D&D sheets for people with dyslexia that I pulled off the internet. They're really awesome for D&D games, and that does seem to help me out. Mandy also wanted to know, if you're self-published or traditionally published or what?
That's a great question. So I'm actually a mixture of small press and self. So my young adult works was with Paper Crane Press. So they were a small group. There was like 5 authors, which I loved. The publisher was also about close to my age. We were both geeks, which was great because she understood my aesthetic and what I was going for with an anime.
Right.
But then she decided to become more of like help with covers and editing and help other authors, like a business. And she's wonderful and she's fair. And I wanted to support her dream. So then my new adult, since that was a different type of more writing style, I went over to self-publish with Create Space. But I made my own imprint thanks to my publisher giving me the confidence to do that. And that's What If Publishing, which is where my new adult works are.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that was a big jump for me to be confident enough to make my own imprint.
I bet. That's amazing though. That's great.
Thank you.
All right. So on my previous one that I did not know what it was, Russell's. Anyway, Rennie means like Renaissance Fair. Because I was told that she does 10 fairies. So that's awesome. And Renaissance fairs are amazing and fun. I love all that too. Yeah.
I go one in St. Louis every year, and it's a lot of fun.
I used to go to the one in Kansas City all the time, then schedule and stuff like that. But yeah, I love those. Those were amazing. I had a friend who, he may still do this, that he would spend every weekend for like 2 or 3 months working the Renaissance Fair. He had built up his whole persona and all that. And I just was like, that would be so fun.
They take it seriously.
They do, as they should. And they're great at it. Sarah has this to say. She says hi for you.
So I actually am a part of a otaku, which is Japanese culture nerd, girls group in my area. There's 7 of us so far. We're going to expand eventually. And we're all big anime nerds. But what's great is we have like the sisterhood of geeky girls that support each other, give suggestions, and I just love these girls so much. And Sarah's one of them. I consider her one of my closest friends. So I'm really glad she's here today.
Welcome, Sarah. Glad you popped in here with us, and so glad to hear that, because that's amazing. I love that stuff. I've always said if I was going to travel outside the United States, which I've never been able to do, Japan's one of those places that are top of my list. I'd love to go. Just the culture and the art, and it would just be a fascinating place. So different than anything that I've been to in the States that it would just be really cool to explore that. So
yeah, I love how they blend their past with their future. Like,
yes,
they're proud of every timeline, and I think that's just wonderful.
I agree. We got a couple comments from Keith. When you were a child, what was your favorite book? And which of the books would make a great film, a great comic book? And if you were to meet and dine any author, who and what? And what would you eat? Yeah. Keith's full of questions today. Those are great questions. Keith's a really good interviewer. So
I was going to say, I want to be interviewed by you because that is fantastic. And I love interviews.
Well, Keith, you're hearing it. So for Pop Culture Minefield, give Morgan a call.
Favorite children's book. I had one that my mom used to read to me all the time called Underwear. It was about these animals who wore underwear. It's really silly, but it was special to my mother because the author and I had the same middle name, Elise, which isn't very common, and it was written the year I was born. So that's a very cherished book. I remember we read quite a bit.
That's
I'm
awesome.
a big Disney fan. Which one of my books would be a good film?
Yes.
I'm biased. Well, I honestly think just for a one-time motion picture, I really like the concept of my new novella that I was telling you about with the gentleman in Hollywood. I mean, that would be a really interesting film. I think I'm going to have some moments that I hope kind of tug at your heart a little bit. Not that I want to make you cry, but that's kind of the goal with that. I would like my other books to be series because they're more expensive, if that makes sense.
Yep.
And I want the full impact of the story to be told by that. Comic book. I would love to have my books as a manga. Oh my gosh, that would be amazing. I looked into that, but hiring artists, although they're so talented and deserve every penny, it's very expensive.
Yes.
I'm a school teacher.
Yes.
So that would be great, though. I would love my friend Susie, who does my covers, to do a manga of any of my books, if she would be willing. And then dine with any author. A live author would be Rick Riordan, who is writer of the Percy Jackson series.
Yep.
I'm obsessed with every book he's ever written. And even though he's an intermediate author, his characters are just so compelling and fun.
Right.
I love Greek mythology. So that's my favorite series. And I'm a sucker for cheese. So anything with cheese on it was what I love.
Those are great answers, Morgan.
I hope so. Thank you.
And those are awesome. Keith also says you're amazing, as he is, right? And we figured that out. I'm so glad we did. AJ actually messaged me there, Russell, and we love Renaissance. So Renaissance fairs are awesome. So yeah, we need to actually come and do some Renaissance fairs with Geeky Kool. We need to make that happen. Des Moines Renaissance Fair. Don't think I can make it to Des Moines. Wow.
Oh, I love Iowa though. It's a beautiful state. Oh.
I only visited there when I was like 10, so I don't remember it very well because but my 10 was a few more years ago than your 10, Morgan. So yeah. Keith says, what genre has always been your favorite and what book made you a fan?
Ooh. Genre-wise, I tend to like paranormal, supernatural, but I like to keep it in the modern world because, like, I love fantasy, but if it's pure fantasy, I lose the little bit of reality, the connection with the story. So, like, and I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but like Lord of the Rings, it's full fantasy, so I get taken out of something like that because I can't relate to anything in that. So I like modernized, I suppose supernatural would be my favorite if I had to pick one. But there's lots of branches now of supernatural, which is great. So I appreciate that. But I do like realistic fiction as well. And I always have to have a little bit of romance because every story needs a little bit of romance. What book made me a fan? Oh my gosh. For the supernatural genre, I'm going to get laughed at, but I am from the Twilight generation. So that probably helped me inspire that. But on the same note, with Hunter and Bringer, I didn't want to go that route because it was so oversaturated.
Right,
I didn't go, the monster, you can fall in love with them. And that's a wonderful concept. I have dozens of books about that concept. But I'm like, no, monsters are pure evil. They're made from darkness. Sorry, girls. You can't kiss a vampire. You're going to get eaten. It's not going to happen. Okay. My favorite author is Lorraine McDaniels, though, and she writes about, this sounds really sad, but she writes about children with like terminal illnesses. But my aunt was going for cancer at the time. So it was kind of a weird to read about people who were going for something with their families, and giving them hope with that. So even though that's not supernatural, I'm very close to that genre, and I kind of would like to write a book, and thanks to her, of a similar topic one day.
That's good. That's great. Wow.
Great
questions, Keith. You're making my job really easy, Keith, because all the questions I needed to ask, you're just taking over here. So,
but you're the
Rask also said, children's pirate group with my children are called the Pink Flamingo Group. That's awesome. I love that.
Love it.
Children's pirate group. That's too cool. I don't know why Jerry Seinfeld on that famous episode of Seinfeld didn't want to wear the puffy shirt, because I'm like, dude, why do you not want to be a pirate? Come on, that would be awesome. So
yeah, they're distinguished.
Exactly. All right. Chris says, yes, underwear, and don't forget the oatmeal book.
Yep, that's a Bert and Ernie book that we used to read a lot.
That's awesome. And your mom, Chris, again. What one made you interested in anime? Oh,
yeah, my parents. They're not geeky like my brother and myself are. We're both big otakus. They're not 100% sure where it came from. my dad loves like science fiction. My mom likes cartoons as well. So, and my grandma's full of youthful charm. So probably from there. Anime though, my first anime was Pokemon, but everybody was Pokemon back in the 90s. So I didn't know that was anime. The first show I knew was anime was when I was 12 on WB, and that was Cardcaptor Sakura. Back on dial-up internet, I remember the sound and everything. I would look up things about the show because I was such a fan. And then it said it was anime, and I'm like, what's this anime? And then I dug down the internet rabbit hole of the early 2000s. and figured out that Japan has its own beautiful genre of animation.
Right.
And from there, I just kind of got hooked. Cardcaptors was also my first manga. My mom bought me the wrong books. I asked her for Cardcaptor books, and she bought me these. I'm like, these are black and white, and I was so disappointed. I got bored during Christmas break and read them, and now I've got more manga than I know what to do. Thank you, Mom. I appreciate that. My first exposure to Japanese culture, those Power Rangers when I was 4, but I didn't realize it was Japanese until years later.
Right.
But I'm still a huge Power Ranger fan. I almost cry when I meet one every time I go to conventions where they're at, because they're my heroes. They're just
So who's your favorite Power Ranger?
Kimberly, the pink one.
There you go.
Yeah.
Also my favorite, but yeah.
Yeah. Oh, she's great. I have her autograph from my Heroes for Kids friends, but I haven't met her or Billy, David Yost yet. But I've met all the others.
That's awesome.
So, I'm looking forward to that. Yeah. So good question. Thank you.
Yeah. Rassel also said Des Moines is only 6. Is it only 6 hours? See, I thought it would be longer than that, but maybe not. But, as a kid, when we went to, because I'm pretty sure it was Des Moines that we went to, because I think that's where my aunt was living, that we stayed a week there, like over Thanksgiving break or something when I was like 10. I don't know. I just remember the drive was like forever long.
Yeah.
But it when you're a kid, though, and of course, speed limits were 55, and now it's 70, 75, whatever. So it probably is a lot faster. Plus, things just go forever. And it wasn't like we had all the things kids have now to keep you busy in the back of a car. It was, you're looking at signs and kind of do the alphabet game, or trying to do the, the license plate game. Yeah. But anyway, but yeah, that's awesome. So we'll have to check that out, because I did not realize Des Moines was that close. So that's awesome. And your mom, Chris, again says you're welcome. So I can see where you get your politeness from, right there, right from Mom.
Well, both my parents are very cordial, and
that's awesome.
They raised me right. They said, "Don't embarrass us in public. You can do it at home." And I'm like,
okay. So I was not a well-behaved child.
Oh.
I was the firstborn, and I was a little. I've ADD along with my dyslexia, so my mind wanders places, and I just kind of go and do things. Especially when I was younger, I'm like, oh, I wonder what that does. I should go check that out. And then, of course, I would get in trouble. So then my parents decided that once I became a teenager, it was their time to repay that by embarrassing me out in public as much as they could. So.
Oh. Goodness.
So anyway, but my first anime, talking about anime, which I didn't realize at the time, was Battle of the Planets, which was this show in the 70s and 80s. I'm sure you've seen it. I'm just like, it was, before your time. But it was being shown in the afternoons in Southwest Missouri for a little while. In fact, they called it Battle of the Planets, and they called it G-Force. It was the same show. I think it just a little bit, little different there. But I love that show. That show it just had personality that was really cool, something that was different. And then, of course, Voltron came along, and I became a big fan of Voltron, the 80s Voltron, because, again, I'm that old that I remember the 70s and 80s. So those are my first exposures, and I've really loved those. What has kind of set me back from some anime at times has been the big buggy eyes when they get excited and all that. I'm like, I don't understand what's going on here. And I'm like, am I too old for this? But what I've realized is, okay, that's just the way they're expressing the emotions. Right. And some shows do it more than others. And some shows are more geared for different people. So these are more for kids or whatever. And the kids shows seem to be more that way. So I've kind of been examining that. We've talked about how I've discovered Ruby, and really love Ruby. So I know we've had a couple of discussions about that and about the season. So I'm always looking to kind of expand into anime to kind of look at stuff, because I think it's a great area. I've seen some different shows that I think is really cool. Cowboy Bebop and some of the other ones. I'm like, yeah, that's cool stuff. I really like that. So I will I don't call myself an anime fan, but I do have an appreciation for it. I'm really kind of getting closer to that. So.
Well, good. And I love anime. It's very detailed. Like you said, anime can expand from children to adults.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the life lessons in anime and manga, the graphic novels, it's just so deep and incredible compared to like an American cartoon most of the time.
Right.
I love how American cartoons are formulaic, to be honest. Right. That's very nice and comforting, but sometimes you want a little more substance too. And I'm glad that anime gives that to you as well. And Cowboy Bebop would be a great classic one to talk about. I mean, it's space bounty hunters.
Right, exactly, which is really awesome.
Yeah, and the cast is incredible. Classic cast, wonderful people. So I think you would enjoy that. Just from what I'm vibing.
Exactly. So yeah, I'm kind of showing you my hand on these are the things I like. So yeah, but yes, I'm really kind of fascinated to see where that goes. Just because I've thought, and I so appreciate you writing about anime for our site, because that is something that we have needed. But I'm definitely not an expert in that. I'm just kind of really a novice, sticking my toes in the water at times, going, well, I like Voltron. Well, I like this. And the Netflix Voltron, though, is actually very good, by the way. Have you seen that?
I know some of my students have. I teach the anime club at my high school across the street. So I've heard good things about that.
It's if you liked the original Voltron or had any sort of, it is a really good adaptation of it. It basically sticks true to a lot of characters and stories. It kind of goes on its own path, but it's really well done. I really enjoyed that. And Netflix is doing some really kind of cool stuff with anime and putting some stuff out there. So, and also because of my dyslexia, reading the captions can cause me a problem. And what I'll do is I will focus on what the words are saying and not what's going on screen. And that bugs me. So I'm like, okay, I know people make fun of the dub, but I'm going to do the dub because it helps me focus on it. So
I don't get into that sub dub, or a lot of people do. I think they both have their merits and everything.
Sure.
And I mean, I've learned to read subtitles because I had to.
Right.
I was younger, and it's helped me out a lot in life and everything. But the dub is just as good, and I can work and still focus and have a good time doing it. And the actors are so wonderful; they give it their all. I've met so many voice actors for anime dubs, and they're very kind and giving to the fans. And that just makes me love it even more.
See, there you go. Well, I'm always about whatever works for you. You got to find out what's going to work for you in what situation. And the whole war thing, I always joke about some of this, like the whole Marvel DC thing. I can participate in that, but it's all in fun because it's all good stuff. So, but yeah, that's where I'm at with it. But I'm enjoying kind of experimenting at my not so youthful age, and
there's always new stuff coming out. That's what's so great.
It's true.
So
that is very true.
Experience whatever, which I think is great. And thank you for liking my articles, because honestly, I don't know a lot about comic books, and I just got into Marvel Cinematic Films a couple years ago. So like my Heroes for Kids family, they're all big DC Marvel people. Right. And I was sitting there like deer in the headlights, like, oh my God, how am I going to fit into this place? I can cosplay Sailor Scout. But they appreciate me, and they always tell me this. He goes, "You're our anime person," because anime is worldwide now, which I'm so happy at. It's a beautiful media, and they'll like anime people come up to skip the Superman just like, Morgan. And I like interacting with them, and I'm learning from them too. I'm learning more about comics.
See, there you go. It's a learning experience. Yeah, I'm with you. Now, I grew up with comics. My father read comics, so my father got me into reading comics when I was young, and so that was a wonderful thing. Basically, my father and I are very different people. Sure. But we've got comics and we've got sports that we talk about. So we kind of know these are the things we talk about, because otherwise we're not real sure. So that's always good when you've got things to bond over. But but no, that really it's whatever geek area you're into. But we badly needed somebody. We've got a couple of people that are talking to us about doing some game reviews and stuff, that would be another area we need help with on Geeky Cool. Is I like playing games, but I don't have the time to be a gamer like I used to. So hopefully we'll get some gaming articles up too. But anime is a perfect piece, so we do appreciate that, Morgan. You're always awesome. So
you guys are great. I love looking at all you do and all the support you give to the nerd community.
Oh, well, thank you so much. I appreciate that. We got a few more people comments here, and then we'll probably let you go because I know you've got to go here soon. You got a big day tomorrow and all that. So Russell said, right, got to go. See y'all later. Thanks for coming, Russell. Yeah. If you watch this later, thank you for joining us. Yeah. Keith said, Morgan, being a fan of the series Supernatural, have you ever been to Lebanon, Kansas? And have you ever been there, Larry? I've been to Lebanon, Kansas, but it's been a long time, and not really since I started watching Supernatural, which I really like that show.
Yeah. I apologize for the confusion. I've watched a little bit of Supernatural, but I meant like this genre of Supernatural. I should have clarified, so I'm sorry. I mean, I know who Sam and Dean are.
Right. It's hard not to after they were on there for like 16 years. I mean. Yeah. So, but yeah.
I don't think I've been through Kansas, but I don't think I've been there. So sorry.
That's all right. That was a good question, Keith. Heard that you collect Funko Pops. How many do you have?
Oh, she's trying to dig me my grave. Yes, I love the Funko Pops. Actually, a lot of people have quit buying me them because even when I ask for them, I have over 200 currently Funko Pops.
Oh wow!
Yeah, I've got most of them at home, and I've got almost 40 in my classroom. Because my husband told me I had to get rid of some, and I said, okay. He didn't tell me where I had to get rid of them, so I took them to my classroom.
Well, as you should. Those are great.
My students are always they're behind my desk, and they always stare at them. They're like, is that Captain America with Thor's hammer? And I'm like, yeah, don't touch my toys.
Those are mine. You have to share. I don't have to share. This is teacher's toys.
Yeah, I have Power Ranger ones, superheroes, Disney.
That's awesome.
I got some like Clifford, Mr. Rogers, George Washington, like children's figures, and The Greatest Showman. My kids and I are obsessed with The Greatest Showman. So
yeah. My wife really loves that movie.
I love that movie.
Yeah, I thought it was good. I actually preferred. Moulin Rouge over that, but my wife hates Moulin Rouge, but I'm always like, yeah, you like The Greatest Showman, but Moulin Rouge was superior, and she's like,
I just like musicals in general. I'm a choir girl, so yeah, musicals. We can talk about that sometime. Or I love that you mentioned Dungeons and Dragons because I just wrote my first campaign.
Yay!
So, I'm going to start that this summer with some friends at the local bookstore. I'm really excited about that.
That's awesome, Morgan. We've actually talked about, and we've been doing this for over a year, talking about doing like a virtual Dungeons and Dragons game like this at some point, and getting some of the people together. So if you're interested, we could definitely do that. But yeah, I used to play Dungeons and Dragons back in the 80s, and then some in the 90s with some friends, and then we started getting children, and then that stopped off, and then but then I've had other people playing it, and it's interesting because it's made this big resurgence.
Yes.
Over the last 5 years. It's really become a lot bigger deal, and if you look, there's so much stuff on YouTube about it, famous people doing it, all these actors groups that do it, which is, I mean, Dungeons and Dragons in any role-playing game is basically acting and rolling dice. I mean, I mean, come on, of course, right? Mm-hmm. So yeah, but yeah, most definitely. You were talking about choir. The really funny thing with choir was I grew up in a really small town. We had 125 kids in my high school, so that's how small it is. My graduating class, we were at 40 my freshman year. By the senior year, it had gone down to 25 because of people moving, everything else. So 25 kids in my graduating class. So tiny little school. The I say all that because we basically had three choices for your fine arts. You could take music, you could take band, or you could take art. And I stink at art so bad. And the same teacher that taught me from kindergarten all the way up to high school, she did everything art-wise. So she didn't like me because I wasn't very good. And that's okay. I mean, then in band, I tried band and I was a drummer who couldn't stay on beat. So then that's a problem.
Right.
And so then my last choice was choir. But my voice is not a good choir voice. I have a good radio voice, but not a good singing voice. I'm apparently always flat. I don't know. So my teacher told me and one of my other friends that we were to lip sync during our contest because she didn't want to actually have our voices influencing the judges. And I'm like, if my school was a little bigger and had drama, I would have been awesome. But yeah, anyway, I just had to tell that story because I thought it was a fun story to tell. But I like watching some musicals. And AJ and I have talked a lot of musicals on our shows where we talk about movies. So you should come on. We can do a whole series on our favorite musicals because I think that would be fantastic.
Yeah, that would be really fun.
So, all right. All right. So Keith, actually, hold on. We'll do Keith here in a moment. Mandy, jump in. We love Dub because of the two autistic kids. And who doesn't want to hear Chris Abbott? Yeah, exactly.
I love Chris Abbott.
Yeah.
I haven't met him yet. That's a dream, though. I've got a list of voice actors I need to meet in my life, and he's on there. He's pretty high.
I think I've met him. So yeah, that's pretty awesome. It used to be in some of the small conventions is still that way. When they bring these guys in, you can go meet them, and they're not going to charge you to go meet them as long as you're like, hey, all this other stuff, and also work at GeekyKOOL. Sometimes I get to talk to people that I wouldn't get to talk to, but yeah. So I believe I've met him. Pretty cool guy. So yeah.
He's been around since Dragon Ball was dubbed.
Right.
Way back 20 years ago. So yeah, he's a veteran.
20 years ago. Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Lebanon, town where Bunker of Men of Letters, yes, is located. Nerd fact: this year's Super Bowl commercial with Bruce Springsteen was in Lebanon, Kansas. That I did not know. That's an interesting. Yeah, Keith always has the great facts. We used to. Keith and I and Brittany were doing a show called Titans of the Fantastic, and we got to do a reunion of that, and hopefully going to get to do some more of that. But Keith always throws out these facts. You're like, dude, how do you know everybody, and how do you know everything? Oh my gosh. In fact, we used to play a little game about Stump Keith, and we would try to come up with things that would stump Keith. And yeah, he's hard to stump. So
Love it.
All right. Young Justice is an animated series that you would enjoy. Great introduction to DC. And that's true. Young Justice, I don't know if you've seen Young Justice, but that one is a really good series. Season 1 is just amazing. So
I've heard good things about all of the DC animations, actually. I hear that they excel at that. I do love the original Teen Titans. I know it's on Cartoon Network, but that's DC.
Well, oh yeah, it most definitely is. The thing I did not like about the Teen Titans cartoon, and this was I'm very biased with the Teen Titans. My favorite character is Wonder Girl, Donna Troy, and they left her out of it. And I'm like, how do you leave out like the strongest character on the thing and my favorite one? So I never quite forgave him for that. Yeah, I don't know. All right. Keith says, great show. Nice to meet you, Morgan. Hope to talk to you in the future. Find me on YouTube channel Pop Culture Minefield, 2 p.m. with Robert Meyer Burnett, writer, director, and editor. Awesome, Keith. We will check that out, man. We always do want to talk about Keith and Gary with Pop Culture Minefield. Those guys are doing great stuff. For people that watch regularly, we shout them out. They are not typically PG friendly, and we try to keep ours PG friendly, but especially Gary. God love Gary. He's a great guy, but I don't know if him and a sailor got in a cursing contest. I think Gary would blow him away. I don't know. And usually it makes Keith laugh, so it's kind of fun. All right, Morgan, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you, Professor.
Anything else you want to promote before we go, or anything else?
Well, I do have a website for my books.
You do, and actually, let me pull that up here.
Awesome.
For people that don't know, here's the website. It is going to be listed down below for Morgan's website, but it has all sorts of cool stuff. Oh, let me move stuff up over here because
There's
I
my
think
Starfire.
I'm
doing the
wrong one.
challenge.
Oh, I pulled up the wrong one. There we go. That's what I'm trying to do. I clicked on the wrong thing. So here's her website. It's really difficult to get to. Morgan Comnick.com. Morgan S.
Comnick.
Yeah. I missed the S in there. So, and again, the link is down below, guys, and check on it. And make sure to check out her articles. She's got articles up 3 times a month, usually on anime right now. Just check those out. Some really great suggestions. And you can see tons of pictures, tons of comments on her website, along with information about her books and other things. There's links to everything up here, even contact link up here for her. So if you'd like her to come to your con and be a star, or if you want to, or if you're a Netflix executive and you've heard great things and you want to go ahead and get her signed up with that 5-year deal. I am her agent. No, I'm not her agent, but
you're doing a great job.
So anyway, check out her website, guys, because she does have a great website. And so before we go, let me throw out shout outs to some of our other friends doing the same things, Morgan. Sure. And we will. We had a great time with you. So glad you came on. So.
I had a wonderful time. I hope I can return.
Oh, anytime you want. And again, we can talk musicals, we can talk old movies, we can talk anime. I'm at a disadvantage with anime because I don't know it as well, but I know AJ knows a lot of it, so that's pretty amazing. I know. So we need to have you guys on to talk about that, and then I can just take notes on what I need to be checking out that way. Well, I love it when the ladies do all the talking on geek stuff. I'm like, look, see, there you go. I'm the more normal one here, which I don't know. I've never been called normal in my life, so I don't know. We do have our friends over at Nerds Informants. You guys need to check them out. Tim and Josh, they do a great job. Check them out on YouTube. They do have a vlog cast also, and they've got stuff going on Facebook all the time. Once movies start hitting theaters more, they'll probably be having a lot more movie reviews. Those guys are great and just amazing guys. And also our partner over at Scallywag Productions. Yeah. Right now they're kind of restructuring their arrangement on how often they're putting stuff out, but it should be Monday, Wednesday, Friday coming up very soon. And of course, AJ, our ace, is over on a series of enigmatic events every Wednesday, so you guys can check that out. Because they'll have all sorts of really cool stuff. I keep trying to get them to cover Bigfoot and UFOs. I don't know if they'll do that, but
I can't help you there.
I don't know. Well, I just find those fun. So, but all right, guys, and of course we do have our site GeekyKOOL.com. Cool with a K, like Kool and the Gang. For those of you that are old and know who Kool and the Gang is, check us out. We do have new articles. We have movie trailers. We've got reviews of articles, movies, books, all of that we post over on Geeky Kool. And, of course, we've got our 3 times a month anime. Right. So anime, manga, yeah. Which is really cool. Manga I still haven't got into yet. Reading backwards on the book, I just don't. I'm trying to get where I'm okay with that. I don't know.
It's different, but it's fun because it confuses the normies.
Oh, see, and I like to confuse normies. So.
Yes, there you go. But you get incentive.
That is a good incentive. I like that. So
I'm a little mean.
I like it. I like it, Morgan. Yeah. All right. So thank you again, Morgan. Thank you guys for watching that have watched with us and stuck with us. We so appreciate it. And you guys have a great week and stay geeky. We should be back next Tuesday at our regular time.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Bye. Thanks.
Bye.
All right.